Okay guys, I did it. Take my shoes off because it's warm out here. But I did it. I'm really excited. I had this idea. I saw, it was Anne did a Jane Austen tag. And so I went to watch and I'm like, cool, who's the best hero? Which is your favorite book? No, it wasn't like that at all. And I may still do that tag because I really enjoy the tag, but my brain was already doing this thing, and it was already, even as I was doing it, was already doing this crazy, like, I don't know, cross thing. It was really strange. And so I was like, kind of want to do that idea. So I came up with how I want to do it. And basically the concept today is we have two different authors / series, and what characters from one are like a character from another. And I really wanted to do something totally opposite, like Wizard of Oz and Anne of Green Gables or something, just totally not remotely related. Laura Ingalls in The Wizard of Oz, that would be hilarious. We're not in Kansas anymore. No, we're back in Minnesota. Neville, it's just Kevin. He's allowed to come outside. You could go say hi. Want to go say hi? You could go say hi. No? Okay. Goofy wants to say hi though. All right. Anyway, so because I had Jane Austen on the brain, I was like, okay, I want to do something juxtaposed with Austen. And after thinking about it for a little bit, I was like, of course, what is like the total different opposite whatever? And I was like, we're going Harry Potter. So today I got these piles of blue and purple. Let me grab a couple sticky notes. And the idea is I'm just going to draw one. I think I'm going to do maybe 6 or 7. There are 6 Austen books, but there are 7 Harry Potter books, but I don't know. So I'll do either 6 or 7, and based on the name that I come up with, based on the characteristics and all the things, I'm going to try to find someone from the other opposite author / series, because they're not the same, and see what I can do. I really wished I was like, if I could just like use Sanditon, the Watsons, and Lady Susan, and just like, but I don't know those well enough. And so I was like, no, I have to stick with these 6. But it didn't matter because I may end up with like 2 or 3 from one and none from another. If I see that I've gotten too many of the same, I'm probably gonna swap it out. So there could be some funky cuts in here, but that's okay. That's okay. We're just gonna have some fun. We're gonna have fun. And I've tried not to think ahead. I know my subconscious is working. I'm not stupid, but every time I've started to think, I've turned my brain to something else because I want to be as on the spot as I can. All right. So first up, I say ladies first, right? So let's get a purple one and pull it out. We have number 1, Aunt Norris. And I have to admit, as soon as I saw that name when I was writing it, my first thought last night, when I was writing all the names down, I was like, there is like Mrs. Norris in Harry Potter, and they aren't unalike, but they're not really the same. So I was like, yeah, we're not gonna go there. But I had that moment of, well, but okay. So Aunt Norris, someone in the Harry Potters, let's see. But first, let's think about her. She is a miser. She definitely has favorites. She totally plays favorites. Not just the Bertram children versus Fanny Price, but particularly she is definitely, Mariah, depending on how you pronounce it, she is definitely the favorite. So there's that. She's a little cruel, but more thoughtlessly and selfishly so than for cruelty's sake. She considers herself benevolent. Those are really pretty much, she's a minister's wife, but that doesn't really matter. Although, interesting. Oh boy, that's I hope I get Rita Skeeter, because all of a sudden I'm thinking, what fun things could we do with Rita Skeeter? Anyway, so Mrs. Norris, we have her. Now we gotta go, like, who in Harry Potter is the most like Mrs. Norris? Someone who is miserly. I can't really think of anyone miserly. So what about someone makes them miserly? It's really about self, isn't it? You know, it's all about, you know, taking care of self, being self. Okay. And then slightly cruel, selfishly so. And how are both of them perceived by others? I don't think I don't remember how the Bertram girls feel about their aunt, but I know that Edmund considers her just horrible to Fanny. And it's all about Fanny having to toe the line with her. You know, the closest I'm coming, I'm actually finding more in Austen's that could fit here than I am. But it feels like it's over the top. But maybe if Aunt Norris were a magical creature, if she were able to enhance her everything's with magic, then perhaps, because I'm thinking about Dolores Umbridge and how everything, she wants to be perceived as someone valued and valuable. So she is very self-centered in the same way. She is cruel to Harry, not as much to others, basically to Harry and anyone connected with Harry, although she will use people for her purpose, which Aunt Norris does. She's not a miser in necessarily how she spends things, although she does steal a necklace. So, I mean, there is that. I'm assuming it's stolen. I mean, how else did you get a hold of that thing? But then I'm also thinking, you know, it feels a little over the top, but with the magical element, maybe. She's really the best I'm coming up with. Bellatrix is too wild and crazy. That wouldn't work. Although, maybe Fanny Dashwood, when she finds out about Lucy Steele. I can see a little bit there. No. But yeah, I think it's like they're two sides of the same coin, though. They project it in very different ways some of the time, but at other times not. So I think it's a poor choice on the one hand, but on the other hand, I think there are similarities. It's kind of weird. It's a little weird, but I think it's the character that at the core, at the bottom, is actually the most like it. And with that kind of power, I could see Aunt Norris becoming like Dolores Umbridge more outwardly. There were certainly times. So yeah, we're gonna go with Aunt Norris and Dolores Umbridge. Oh, what? I'm not sure where that came from, but okay. Fine. Okay, let's grab a blue one. It's more aqua tealish, but oh dear. We're just creating quite the anthill here. So here we have Aunt Petunia. So Aunt Petunia, she wants to be perceived as totally normal, and she wants to be respectable, and she is rather cruel to Harry. I keep thinking about how often he was given so little to eat, and the favoritism shown for her child over another, which also kind of fits the Aunt Norris thing. But it's really a dislike for the parents more than Harry himself. So we have Aunt Petunia. It's all about, I'm going to go with Fanny Dashwood on this one though, because it is about status and how people think, and about favoritism, and about someone being beneath someone else, and family reputation and all the things. But it shows not just with the Dashwood girls, but also with Lucy Steele. I mean, she only befriended Lucy Steele as a way to slight the Dashwood girls, and then she got herself. Is there anyone else? Anyone in Highbury? Tilneys? I'm trying to think. I'm not thinking of anyone else. Yeah, I'm gonna go with for Aunt Petunia. We're gonna go with Fanny Dashwood. Although I don't think Fanny Dashwood is as cruel as Aunt Petunia physically, but on the other hand, she's the one who convinced her husband not to give the sisters money, which they need to survive, and which he promised to do. She totally redefined his promise to keep things the way she wanted things to be. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Aunt Petunia. Mirror character, if you will, would probably be Fanny Dashwood. Yeah. Didn't expect that. Okay, let's grab another. Who is this? Lizzie. I mean, we had to do Lizzie. I mean, we have Lizzie and Harry, and if I'm getting close to the end and I haven't gotten Harry, I'm going to like dig through. And I haven't thought about either one of these. Every time they come to mind, I just push them out. So Lizzie is a little bookish. She's active. She speaks her mind, and she's considered from not such a good family. So I'm thinking of two right now that fit so far. Thing is that Lizzie is more vivacious, and one of those doesn't really fit. I don't remember. So what I'm thinking about is obviously Hermione, because Hermione is a little bookish. She's intelligent. She is active enough that she does things, with the others. She's cheering at the Quidditch things. I mean, so she's active enough, at least. And I mean, they wander all over the place in book 7. So I mean, she's, not just, but I'm also thinking there's a little bit of Luna Lovegood there, but what I'm not, Lizzie is kind of vivacious and popular in her own set. Luna's not. But they are both really considered like beneath me, because Luna, I'm thinking, everybody, her dad's kind of weird and she's kind of weird, so she's like beneath them, whoever them is. But then, for the Slytherin crowd, Hermione would be, because she's Muggle-born. So there could be that. I think I'm going to go with Hermione. I think Hermione and Lizzie, I don't think it's a perfect match. I think it's probably like the least perfect in some ways, but I think maybe it's too on the nose and not enough nuanced. Maybe that's what is bothering me. But I'm gonna go with those two because reasons. Why not? I get to do this. This is my idea. So I get to play with it however I choose to, and I think those are going to be the best. I've even been trying to think of, well, what about guys? You know, what guys are more like Lizzie? And if that were the case, I'd probably go with someone more like Cedric Diggory. But I can't see he would be considered less than, not good enough for. I can't see how that would fit. So yeah, that would be kind of interesting. Okay, next up, that's pink, so we're gonna do blue. Pull this one out. Oh, and here we have Luna Lovegood. That's kind of funny that it just showed up that way. Luna Lovegood. So, okay, so to a certain extent, Luna Lovegood would be a little like Mary Bennett. She's the lesser sister, if you will, and considered a little odd by the others. So there's her. She could be a little Miss Bates-ish from Emma. Well, especially from the Miramax with Gwyneth Paltrow. That woman played the best Miss Bates ever. I love her so much. What they did with her scenes in there were just, they really nailed an attitude. I don't even recall how close it is to the book, but the attitude is really there. I'm trying to think. So there's nothing Luna Lovegoody in Mansfield Park at all. Catherine Moreland. They're both intelligent. They're both a little somewhat scattered, and they both kind of see things where they aren't. But I'm not really feeling it. And my Sense and Sensibility. Well, you know what? I'm gonna get roasted for this, but work with me here a little bit. They're both a little bookish in that they're rather intelligent and are often reading and kind of live in their own thought worlds to a certain extent, and sometimes to their detriment. But also sometimes it makes them highly intuitive to situations. I'm gonna go. I'm so getting in trouble for this one. I'm gonna go with Marianne Dashwood. Yeah, you know, she's highly, sensitive. She's highly romantic, and if you compare them and the effects that they have on the characters, there's a lot more similarities there. I would never have thought that. Anyone else? Yeah, no one else. No one else. So yeah, I'm going Luna Lovegood. I should be writing these down. I'm gonna forget who I chose. But I'm gonna go with Marianne Dashwood. Where did that come from? That's kind of weird. But there's some fun commonalities there that, yeah, okay. So we need another, it's really more of an orchid color, but another pink one. What we got here? Okay, Mr. Knightley. Okay. So he is a little older than Emma. Considerably older. He is a true gentleman, and he's not afraid to say what Emma needs to hear. He sees things in her that others, particularly me, don't see. Although I have to say that Barbara Cornthwaite helped me with that. He has a strong sense of honor. And when necessary, he goes away. I'm going with Lupin, Professor Lupin. yeah, Lupin marries a younger woman who has to convince him that this is a good idea, which it doesn't really happen in Emma, but she's kind of impetuous like Emma, and you get that fly. You get him, you get that fly. You show him who's boss. Tell him, say I'm gonna get you. So yeah, wow. Yeah, I'm going Knightley and Lupin. I always really liked Lupin. I thought he was a cool beans. Oh, you're not going to get the fly? You're just going to come have me save you from the big bad fly? Really? Neville, he's nut job. Yes, I agree. He's a nut job. Okay, go. Oh, you silly boy. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna stick with that. We're gonna stick with that. Okay. So, oh well, now I don't have to go digging because we have Harry. Now, if I recall correctly, Lizzie was a little difficult. Who did I choose for Lizzie? I think I chose Hermione. Harry. So Harry's an orphan. He's brave. He's a bit impetuous. He's sounding like Marianne too. So he's brave and he's impetuous, and he tends to draw people to him. Again, Marianne. All day, all night, Marianne. Let me think. So he is willing to stand up to authority if it's right. Takes charge of his own education. In that sense, he's a little like Lizzie, isn't he? I mean, she just lets Catherine de Bourgh have it. She doesn't play games with the Bingley sisters. She might as well be an orphan the way those parents are. Although I have to say, her father truly loves her. He's just a very weak man. But no, even his aunt and uncle can't be brought to be anything like the Bennets. So we're going to skip him. I feel like Mr. Bingley would be like Ron Weasley. Except not quite. No, that doesn't work either. Maybe more like Cedric. I don't know. Cedric was brave, though. Mr. Bingley is too easily led, at least at first. But we're supposed to be talking about Harry and who he's like. Harry, a little Captain Wentworth-ish. He kind of, a little bit. Having a really hard time with Harry. I think so far he's the hardest. Because I see some similarities, but not enough to say, well, this works for me, even though, a lot of these have been major stretches, and I knew it would be, but I thought it's kind of fun because it really makes your brain think in different ways, makes you really look into a character's character. He's definitely not a John Dashwood or a Willoughby or a Wickham. Is he a Darcy? No, he's not a Darcy. He's not a... I almost said he's not a Draco. Well, duh. Okay, so he's not a Darcy. He's not Lady Catherine or Mr. Collins or Charlotte Lucas or any of the other... He's not Jane. Well, he does have some of Colonel Brandon's, steadiness, if you will. I got something on my pants. I'm going to have to get that off or I'll have to change. So... he does have some of that. What about Emma? Knightley? Is he anything like Knightley? Frank Churchill. That would be more like Draco. Because Frank Churchill, he's kind of a jerk. But in the end, he kind of comes around. And you don't dislike him quite so much. And that's a little Draco-ish, but that's, I'll probably get Draco in here and then I'll be all set. Okay, Harry. He's not any of the people in Mansfield Park, no. He could be a little bit like Tilney, Mr. Tilney. Maybe. He could be a little bit like that. In, you know, he's kind of on the, he's in it for an adventure, sure. But if you go after his family, he's gonna call you out, and he's not gonna put up with it. And so I could see maybe Mr. Tilney. Sense and Sensibility, I don't see anyone in there. Pride and Prejudice, no. Emma, no. Persuasion, tiny bit of Wentworth, but I think he's more Tilney than Wentworth. Nothing. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Mr. Tilney. That's a weird one. I would never ever have put those together at all. That's weird. But I kind of like it. Harry's and like, what about that chosen one status? That would put him closer to Darcy than to Tilney. Although, she might consider him the chosen one. And maybe for his family. I don't know. I'm going to stick with Tilney. I'm going to stick with Tilney. Let's do the Tilneyness. Okay, let's grab another. I need to move this along, man. I'm just like, really thinking these, but on the other hand, maybe I can do some funky editing. I don't know. We'll see. So next up we have, John Dashwood. John Dashwood. So John is a well-meaning guy who is definitely led by his wife. He really does care a lot about what's best for his son, and doesn't really care about anyone but his wife and his son. But he thinks a lot of himself and his family. My first thought is Lucius Malfoy, but he doesn't have the undertone of supercilious disdain for anyone he considers beneath him. It's more of an ambivalence in him, but ambivalence is just as bad. But he is, when all is said and done, his wife definitely controls things. Who else is there? It's neither of the Dursleys fit this one. John Dashwood Dursleys. No. There is a little bit of Slughorn. Just a little bit. It's not a good one, but there is a little bit. All right, this is really tough. So John Dashwood. I'm gonna go with something totally off the wall, but work with me here. I'm gonna go with Professor Quirrell, because he does have his own agenda and things that are important to him. But he is weak in terms of who is actually controlling him. And he will bow to that and yield to that. And that is still serving his personal wants and desires. Yeah, it's not a good match. But on the other hand, there are things I see a bit more. Because ultimately it's going to benefit him if, okay, we're going with Professor Quirrell for John Dashwood. What? What? If I had those really, like the reactionists, the way they do their thumbnails, if I had one, I would be like, John Dashwood and Professor Quirrell, what? But I'm not going to do that. But still, there's that part of me that's going, wait a minute. Okay, so we need another blue. And this one is, oh, one of my favorites. Obviously, I have Neville Longbottom. He's my dog. And we have Neville. Okay, so Neville Longbottom. Neville is a loyal friend to the end. He is intelligent. He thinks he's a coward, but he proves to be like one of the bravest that there is. He could have been, except that he wasn't chosen by Voldemort. He could have been the prophesied chosen one. He's just an all-around great guy. And Neville, if Austen had done Mansfield Park in a way that fits modern sensibilities, he might have even been a bit of an Edmund, but it's not the way it's written and not the way we see things. It just doesn't work. Colonel Brandon, a little bit, you know, he seems a little slow and a little uninteresting at first, and at the end he is like a hero in all the best ways. So there is Colonel Brandon. Willoughby's more like Draco too. At the end he does kind of repent, doesn't he? I can't remember now. I feel like he's a little bit repentant. Too late, way too late, but still there's a little bit there. But let's see. Neville. Darcy, no. Bingley, no. Wickham, no way. Mr. Collins, absolutely not. Mr. Elton, no. Frank Churchill, no. I could see a little Wentworth in him. I really don't think I can do better than like Wentworth, and it's really not a good. We're not characters that proved stronger than you expected. Anne, yes. Anne Elliot, Neville. They're both stronger than they appeared at first. They're both loyal. They're both come out kind of on top at the end. Yes. Anne. Neville is Anne Elliot. That feels weird to say, but okay. Let's move along. Okay, what do we have here? Mr. Elliot. Oh, this one's easy. This one's super easy. Mr. Elliot. He's full of himself. He's all about appearances. He's all about popularity. All the things. Instantly, you want to say, Lady Catherine de Bourgh. They're two peas in a pod in a lot of ways, but it's the same series. Can't do that. If you want that, you want Laura Hyle and something about marriage advice or something. I don't know. It's pretty funny. Mr. Elliot. No. This one's so easy. I'm not. Come on. As soon as I say the name, you'll get it. Gilderoy Lockhart. Full of himself. All about popularity. Thinks he's so great looking. Thinks everybody else is so envious of him. All the things. Yes. That's the easiest one of all. Yeah. Can't think of anyone who would even come close. Who would come close? No one would come close. No. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, Professor McGonagall. Okay, so she's got a sharp wit. No nonsense. Highly intelligent. Bold. Really getting Lizzie vibes here. But also maybe a little bit of Emma. Emma's pretty smart. She is pretty bold. She can be no nonsense about what she wants. So maybe a little bit of Emma. Fanny Price might work, except she's not bold, and her sharp wit is, and I don't even think we see it on the page. I've just always felt like she had one internally, but she didn't share. So that doesn't work. The Dashwood girls don't work. Now I'm liking Lizzie for this. Just Lizzie being a young McGonagall, which is really hilarious when you consider that Lizzie would have been born like at the end of the 1700s, and McGonagall at the earliest would be the early 1900s. But yeah, I'm getting Lizzie vibes for McGonagall. Is there any man that fits McGonagall? Sharp wit, bold, little bit of Sir John Middleton maybe, but not really. He's too good-natured, and it's not that she's bad-natured, but she's just a little too no-nonsense for that, you know. So yeah, I'm not seeing any. Maybe Mr. Bertram. I could see a little bit of Mr. Bertram. Yeah, no, I'm switching over. Professor McGonagall, let's go with Mr. Bertram, because I think he's an underrated character. I mean, he makes mistakes, but he's an underrated character, and I do see some similarities. They are both no nonsense. They're both. I don't think we see. He's another. I don't think we see his wit in what he says, but I kind of get it in sometimes in what he does and how he handles Mrs. Norris. So yeah, I'm going with Mr. Bertram. Yeah. So I need a pink one. Okay, we're down to our last two after this, which is good because we gotta leave for church in like 25 minutes. Yeah. Miss Bates. Oh dear. Miss Bates. Well, there's a Luna Lovegood for you, but Luna Lovegood is too brilliant for her. So that wouldn't work. No. Miss Bates, Sybil Trelawney. A little head in the clouds, a little ditzy coming across. Sometimes I feel like Miss Bates is smarter than we give her credit for, so that would work. Sybil Trelawney is underestimated, undervalued. So is Miss Bates. Do you see where I'm going here? So yeah, Miss Bates, Sybil Trelawney. Easy peasy. That might be the easiest one of all. I mean, especially as kind of on the nose-ish as it is. Oh, wait a minute. I'm pulling out purple. We need a blue. Oh, I lied. There's two more of each. Okay, so we need a blue, and I need to hurry. So, Snape. Oh, man. Okay. Bad guy at first. Then he ends up, okay. It's kind of a weasel. Kind of the reverse of Collins. I always think of Mr. Collins as being an oily character. But Mr. Collins comes off as ridiculous, but at least, you know, a decent person until the rejection of the proposal, and then he may be a little ridiculous, but he's not so decent anymore either. So that doesn't work. Not Wickham, not Bingley. What about women? No, she's just silly. She's not. No, not. Okay, this is a long stretch, but because we have so little time left, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Snape, and it's reversed. We can't do the cousin Elliot because it's reversed. No. Okay, I'm going to do Snape and Willoughby. Because Willoughby does have that. No, wait a minute. No. No. I'm not. Okay, work with me here. This is going to be a little odd. Okay, it's going to be a little odd. But just work with me. Captain Wentworth. He was perceived as bad by Anne's family. Okay. Snape was bad. But in the end, he is a hero of sorts, right? He has come back with all the prize money. He is considered an eligible catch and all those things. But the thing that gets it for me, the thing that makes me decide this is it, they both were in love with the same woman for a very long time and didn't waver. Now, it feels like Wentworth wavered with Louisa Musgrove, but I don't think so. I think that was all perception on everybody else's part, and it was a way for him to be closer to her. And the reason I say that is that letter that he wrote her. He says, you know, don't say that it's more like a woman to be constant. Your heart, my heart's still yours after 7.5 years, you know. And so I'm gonna say that he actually didn't waver. I can't remember. I haven't read that in so long that I may be totally messing with it. But these are what I'm remembering. Very long-standing love. Snape, long-standing love. Snape is a much better character than I ever gave him credit for. And every time I think more about it. And so a lot of it does fit. Not perfectly, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see where Snape could have gone if Lily had never married James. And maybe somehow he could have risen to overcoming his past. And so, yeah, I'm going to go with that. Yes, yes. Okay, last one of the women. We have Catherine Morland. Catherine Morland. Oh, boy. She has her head in the clouds. She sees everything through a book. I'm kind of getting... she could be Luna Lovegood. But who else could she be? Not Tonks. She's closest. Catherine Morland is closest to Luna Lovegood, isn't she? Kind of seeing drama where there isn't. And I'm only thinking in terms of like these nargles and all the things that she's coming up with. But there's more substance to her than you think. And that is also true of Luna. Seems like a weak... Yeah, I wish I remembered who I did for Luna Lovegood. Probably did Catherine Morland, but I don't really see how I can avoid it. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. And my last one for this series is Molly Weasley. She's motherly. She's loving. She's fierce. She doesn't really put up with anything from those she loves, but she's also very protective of them, and she's good to others. She's domestic. You know, in that sense, she's a little like Emma. What? No. She is a little like Emma. You know, Emma is very loyal to the people she puts her heart into. She's very loyal to her family. Although she's very gentle with her father in a way that I'm having a hard time seeing Molly Weasley being. But don't go after her or her kids. You will regret it. Let me think. Who else? Mrs. Dashwood is too weak. Eleanor, there are little bits of Eleanor, but that doesn't work. Jane is too sweet to be that fierce, and the other sisters are too silly. So there goes those two. Anne, maybe Anne Elliot, but that seems like we're pushing it a bit, don't you think? Yeah. And she's not. Fanny isn't fierce enough. Although I could say that Mr. Knightley could be a bit like Molly Weasley. Fiercely loyal, but not afraid to say it like it is. Loving. It's kind of a toss-up between Emma and Mr. Knightley. A little bit of Lizzie. I could see Lizzie. I mean, because even as ridiculous as Lydia and her sister and Kitty, those two in particular, as ridiculous as they are, Lizzie is fiercely loyal about them, but she is hard on them for their own good. So she fits in there. So those three are really tough. Who do you think? I'm going to end with this. This is great. You decide. One of those three, Lizzie Bennet, Emma Woodhouse, or Mr. Knightley, or someone else that I'm not thinking clearly of. Tell me who you think for Mrs. Weasley. Who would she be? And I want someone else to do this with their own. See, that's why it's not an attack. I don't want you to do these two. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but I think it would be fun if people came up with their own, like Anne Shirley and Percy Jackson, and what are we going to get in with those characters, or whatever. It doesn't matter, Please, somebody do this. I want to see it because I think it's so much fun. I've had a blast, I gotta say. I've been thinking about what I wanted to do all the time, but I've been trying not to think of the characters because I didn't want to come in here predisposed. And I mean, there are a couple that came really easily. Trelawney and Miss Bates. That came really easy, I know. Was it because it was like percolating in the background, or are they that obvious to anyone else but me? I can't remember who else was pretty quick, but there was another one that was pretty quick. But for the most part, I really had to think, and that was fun. And I'm going to cut out a lot of the thinking time because that we'll be sitting here forever. I've been out here for over an hour, and we have to leave in 5 minutes. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to go get my stuff and get in there so that we can get off to church. And I hope you had a lovely Sunday. This will be out Tuesday, but whatever. I hope you had a lovely Sunday. And I will see you hopefully on Friday.